I know you want to know how to fight for what's right in the world. In this Time to Thrive live episode, we'll teach you just that. So hit that little like button, subscribe to my channel if you haven't already, and let's get into it.
Hey,
How are you, Mrs.?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. You look lovely.
Do you want to introduce everyone? I think anyone who's come across my page has probably seen me teasing them with your food or preaching and cheering about you. But do you want to introduce yourself for anyone who doesn't still know who
Okay.
Sheena is?
Okay, so I'm Sheena and I run Truffleupagus Vegan Yums, which has been going for around 8 years in Belfast here. I started, as I say, 8 years ago, just very small business.
Your wee
And in the
truffles, hence the name.
Yeah, that was it, yeah. And in the last year and a half since COVID, it's become my main business, taking over what I had been doing previously for 25 years, which was teaching dance and drama. So I'm also a vegan activist. I advocate for animals, and that's so I wear many hats.
Yes, but over the past year, the business has really boomed and bloomed, and you've gone into so many different avenues. And that what you were specifically like focusing on, you've sort of broadened your horizons and really offering a wide range of things now, where it's not just all a smaller sort of, and doing weddings and stuff. Like there's
it started off very much being a sort of part-time thing, because as I say, I was teaching.
Yeah.
And but I've always loved catering. I was involved in a sort of anarchist punk center in the late 80s, and we had a vegetarian cafe there. And so I've always loved cooking. Like I would lose sleep about menus. Yeah, I know. I would lose sleep planning menus. So whenever my son kind of grew up, I sort of missed the cooking and went back into it about 8 years ago, but as a hobby. Never thought it would be a business or something that I could be doing full time. And I don't think I'd even really wanted that until COVID hit, and you just everybody had to shape shift.
Adapt.
Everybody had to adapt and change who they were, and I've always been quite good at that. So I just naturally went to the food aspect, but it still changes every sort of quarter, every 3 months it seems to change. So 1 month you could be doing markets, the next month you're supplying coffee shops, the next month you're doing weddings. So it just keeps changing, which is interesting. It means you're not just churning out the same thing. And it doesn't become boring. Still a passion.
I think that's the beauty of having your own business, that one morning you can just wake up and feel called to just make this, or like last night, just make a wee gravy ring and think, oh my goodness, this is the best thing I've ever done in ages, and you can just get creative and really make it your own and do whatever the hell you want.
I know, because a lot of people say, would you not open a coffee shop? And I'm like, that just sounds like too much work to me.
It's not for everyone, and you can just do what you want to do. And by the way, whatever you said about your son growing up and things, I was thinking, here, you can adopt me at any time, darling.
I mean, well, my son's older than you. Well, Sean keeps saying he wants to adopt a wee girl, so we can adopt you.
Pick me! I'm guessing he means a child and not, well, I mean, I am still a child, forever young.
Well, that's the beauty about being vegan, isn't it? Live forever.
I know. Well, this is it. I did think then you'd be the perfect person, because whenever I think of, stereotypes around veganism and stuff, that, there still is very much, like, there's different sides that, it's just like this hippie person, living in the wilderness and their yogi lifestyle. Or, there's the very military, militant vegan who are all angry and hate the world. And whenever I think of a compassionate, loving, like one of the most compassionate, generous, kind people I know, really, you spring to mind. And you just so happen to also be vegan. Vegan isn't the first thing that you are. You're so much more than just vegan. But that you are a vegan as well. And so I thought you'd be a really good person to sort of teach others just a good way to be vegan. And anyone who would maybe want to dip their feet into veganism, just sort of taste it for a little bit, would you have any sort of tips on how to get into that? Did you do it overnight?
Yeah, well, I think it's very important to, first of all, like anything that you want to do, is to find what your reason is. And because then you're more likely to stick to something if you really have a reason why you want to do it.
Behind it
and a why, yeah. Like, so if you want to give up alcohol, for example, you have to find the reason why you want to do that. So if you want to go vegan, genuinely, I do think you have to really know why. I mean, it could be health. I mean, a lot of people do go vegan for health, and that's fantastic. But I'm always concerned then that if the health doesn't flow within about 3 weeks, and people will go back to, and then feel that they've become ill from being vegan. Sadly, when people drop a lot of weight when they go vegan, or they become unwell, it's because they're just not eating a good diet, which can happen with any group of people if you're not eating well. So
it does take,
for me,
I think it's important to consider that it does actually take quite a bit of research and knowledge to really know
100%.
how to eat a well-balanced and flourishing vegan diet, to be able, you can't just cut out everything and expect to eat just leaves, and for that to, I think that is quite important 100%. To consider, that it needs to be, really thought to be able to.
And I think a lot of people do. Yeah, I think a lot of people maybe do want to become vegan because they feel that they're going to lose weight. And that's really their focus. And then once that's happened, then maybe the burgers start coming in again. So I think you're right. I think it has to be researched 100%. I think you have to do a wee bit of reading, but that's fun. That's maybe, you might think, well, that sounds really boring, but it's fun looking up recipes. And when we're out on the streets doing activism and people say, oh, where do you start? One thing I'll always say to them is just type in your favorite meal. Like if it's a chicken curry or a shepherd's pie, but just put the word vegan in front of it, and you will get, Google is your friend. You will just get a list of the most amazing meals that are available for vegans, and they could be the whole food plant-based, or they could be the fake meat version, and you pick your bag,
That's exactly what I did, actually. I would have, because I, would have had all shepherd's pies and bologneses and curries and all these kinds of foods, like big casseroles. And then I just did them with beans or lentils, and it was exactly the same recipe, but only substituting in the plant-based version. So it was perfect and it was delicious. So I think that's a good way to go.
It works. It works. And we're so lucky now. Even 10 years ago, or even 8 years ago, it was a lot harder to find vegan food, but it is on but it is, I think people do need to maybe be walked through. And I oftentimes see on the vegan pages people asking for help, and that's great. So find some sort of vegan network. There's the Vegan Society also.
Vegan in Belfast.
There's vegan in Belfast, absolutely.
Guys, we're lovely humans.
But there's the Vegan Society, and they have a youth section. So if you're younger and your parents are concerned about, can a young girl in her, who's maybe just started her period, is she going to get enough iron? Go to those sites, just type in Vegan Society and stuff like that. And
there's the 22-day challenge as well, isn't there? The Vegan 22.
Yes, and they're brilliant. And there's Forks Over Knives, which comes from the film, which is a more health-based one. But I signed up to it recently just for new inspiration and recipes, and their website and recipes and the whole styling is just unbelievable for free. So there's a lot of information out there.
Veganuary sends a lot of recipes, and they have a lot of information. They have a book, How to Go Vegan, which I have. There's so many. The Happy Pair, Deliciously Ella. We could rhyme off 100. Obviously, I have a book. Do you have a book?
Not yet. I think we have to find the sort of people that you resonate with. I'm not really the Instagram generation, although I can see how valued it is.
I'm going to get you into that Instagram. The last thing I do.
It's so but there is a lot of people on there who are promoting a vegan lifestyle, and they put up links, and you just find somebody that you like and resonate with.
Yeah.
Yeah,
all the time.
you know?
And here, it actually got me into cooking and really find a love for cooking and food. You know, I grew up on junk food, on McDonald's and Chinese and rubbish. And by going into veganism, I really started cooking and trying new flavors and spices and just actually getting fun with food. So I would say there's, you know, people might think, oh, so much effort, but no, like, frame it in a different mind. See it as a whole new world of adventure, and oh, this is exciting to try. You know, you don't need to be perfect or change everything overnight, but like you could try one. You could do Meat-Free Monday to start in with. You know, just try, like, each meal counts, right?
As a vegan activist, I don't really promote the Meat-Free Mondays, because I do feel that if you're only, it has to be.
In that someone who's starting off eating like fully, you know, meat for 3 times a day, for example, that one meal. I think if it's a start to something, but it often isn't. It often is just people maybe giving themselves a pat on the back and saying they've cut down. We would meet people like that a lot, saying, you know, well, I only eat a little bit of meat, but you know, a little bit of meat still causes the death of an animal. So I would be trying to support all in, if people can give it their best shot, because it is so easy. I mean, we were in the town one time, and there was a man saying to Sean, you know, I don't know where to find food, and he actually took him right round to the nutmeg and showed him the big sort of list of things that you could have. That's actually, you know? Just because,
but I understand
really
that.
Don't understand,
yeah. But I understand how walking into a health food shop isn't going to translate into a meal for you if you've never seen those ingredients before. You know, you're going to go, oh, what do I do with this, and what do I do with this, and so I think, but it's definitely changed, and I think the most important thing is to come up with your why you want to go vegan. I think if it's just to look like somebody on Instagram, it's maybe not enough of a reason. I think you need to, for me, obviously, I'm always going to be saying you have to connect with the animals, and I think that will make a massive difference. A lot of people are going vegan now for the environment as well, and because obviously, you know, if there's a lot of facts about that as well online, so there's a lot of there's a lot of very, very valid reasons. So keep those reasons in mind, and I think that's your first hurdle, really. You know,
I think those are really the 3 main reasons why someone would go vegan initially. Would be for their health, for the animals, or for the planet. And often I've heard a lot of people have initially got into it for health benefits. They have actually had the health benefits, but it's been then doing the sort of reading the books and researching the documentaries after that they've then really connected with the true cause and reasons behind veganism, and that's the reason why you stay vegan, because your health can be a fluctuating thing, and you know, as you say, I think that's not really the main factor of why you would go vegan. It is a bigger cause and purpose that you're dedicating and sort of contributing to. You know, you actually have a real meaning with how you're eating and what you're putting on your plate, that it's beyond you. There's a bigger reason here. It's not just you and you're giving the work.
I was actually thinking about that myself, because obviously, you know, knowing that I have a history of eating disorder, not now, but when I was a lot younger. And that would have been my sort of click moment, my sort of connection moment, when you realize that it isn't any longer just about you. First of all, in terms of accepting that my behaviors then were affecting other people. But once I became aware of that and got help and stuff like that, and then when I became vegan, which was after I was in recovery, I became vegan then, and I made a promise to myself that I wasn't going to be using that as any kind of weight loss issue. It was because it was no longer just about me. It was about the animals. It was about, so now my theory is eat anything as long as it's vegan. You know, anything at all. As long as it's vegan, I'll eat it. And because I made my promise to myself that it wasn't going to become another diet. But that was my rationale at the time, you know. But yeah, it's definitely.
I didn't really realize that there was an association there between your recovery and the vegan side of it. That's really actually, I appreciate you sharing that. And that's really quite beautiful to hear that the two sort of linked together in such a positive way for you, and that it really clicked a sort of like turning point, and sort of veganism has saved you in many ways then as well. It saved you, it saved the others around you, it saved the animals. There's been a lot of flourishing that's come out of that.
100%, yeah. And, you know, I noticed obviously a massive improvement in my own health, which is, you know, but that also came from eating properly rather than just eating, you know, just being vegan.
And all the rest of it. Yeah.
So obviously I had a natural, you know, improvement in my own health, including, for example, I had been diagnosed with osteoporosis when I was 28, which is incredibly young. And obviously then, and I get regular bone scans now, and the bone scan, I thought the bone density would just show it was the same, but it actually not only got better, it had increased.
Unbelievable. As a full vegan.
As 100% vegan. I know. I was so overwhelmed by that. It was just, to me, this massive victory for the kind of eating that I was doing. And
that's remarkable. Like, really fantastic that you have.
I know. It was really,
how many
really
years
pleased
later was that bone scan that since you had? Was it like 10 years or?
When they told me that, so the initial bone scans would be every 4 years. So it was like 28, 32, 36, so on and so on. And it was showing no change. And then I went vegan 8 years ago. So I think I got one about 4 years in. So we're talking maybe 4 or 5 years ago. It showed that it had increased by 1%. And he showed me where it had been and where it was now. So it was really emotional day.
And especially, I do think that's what, you know, a lot of people would think, oh goodness, you'd be very deprived as a vegan. And, you know, I remember a man used to say to me, oh, there's no way you could go vegan, like, as in you'd be dead if you were vegan. I'm like, oh, right, because I'm not actually standing here alive right now. Literally, I am dead. Hello. I might as well be here. Do you know that you would be really deprived in nutrients and vitamins and all the rest of it, that would worry about that and they wouldn't want to put their health in bad state. But for the fact that you have actually, and calcium, you know, would be very much linked to cow's milk and everything, for the osteoporosis side of things, that you managed to improve that, which is, you know, quite groundbreaking and interesting for people to hear. That
I know,
whenever you
but
really
also,
do feel well,
it's I mean, also very, very, very blessed to be in a country where you have access to that kind of free treatment. I mean, I'm sure those scans are a fortune. So,
for sure.
You know, I'm very, very, very lucky. We're very lucky to live in a, you know, in a country where we have that free access. I also was extremely lucky to also have incredible therapy for free for a long time for my eating disorder, which
and support around you, and there's a lot of the and availability of food and access and ability to do things with those food. You know, there is a lot that comes into it, you know, in terms of thinking about privileges that are in certain countries and within certain people. But you got to be grateful for this and sort of just appreciate and like show people that this is possible.
Yeah. I think it really is. And I think, you know, we got to remember as well that some of the, you know, that whole idea of veganism being expensive is something that puts people off. But the foods that you can really thrive on, fruits, vegetables, beans, grains, pulses, nuts, all those things are some of the cheapest foods that are available in supermarkets.
Potatoes, oats, pasta, like all these foods are so cheap. My food has never been cheaper.
I know. So, but it's knowing what to do with them, and it's, you know, and it is worth. Most of us, luckily, have phones, but we can also communicate with people. We can go to libraries and get books if we don't have phones. There's plenty of vegan cookbooks in libraries available for free, and you can just mess about and play about with the flavors that you enjoy and create new stuff. And maybe there'll even be a job in Truffleupagus for you. I might need some help.
Maybe, or yeah, well, I mean, I think like trying, good food like that's been prepared by people well in the know is a good way to dip your feet in as well. Like, go to restaurants, try these things, go to markets and network with people, find people. You can search hashtag vegan Belfast or something on Instagram or, connect in communities and just find friends and everything. I think that really helps having a connected community around you, because it can be difficult if you're the only one within your network. And
I know that must be hard, especially if you're having difficulty with family and stuff. Like, I know I'm still in
that would be a real barrier, that people would be like, oh, my whole family is cooking a certain way, so I can't be the odd one.
That must be hard. And you do have to develop a bit of a thick skin and a confidence in your choices, so that you're not feeling bombarded by people's pressure. I mean, I still work in a school where there's like, there's not even ever a biscuit brought in for me. But what I do is I will make up, because there's obviously kids there that have allergies, so I'll make up a tin of the best looking vegan biscuits, Oreos, raspberry ruffle bars, all this here, bring them in. And then the other adults are going, well, they look better than my biscuits.
I know, they're like, oh, I want some of those treats. And then you probably don't even
hands off there for the vegans.
Yeah, they don't even need to. I don't even think, a lot of the times if something's labeled as vegan, it'll put something off. But you know what? They don't need to know it's vegan. It's happens to be vegan, accidentally vegan. And there's just this misconception that vegan food is weird or odd. Like, no, it's fucking delicious. Will you try it, please?
Well, that's another very good website, is the Accidentally Vegan website, because it has, and you would be surprised how many things you would never have thought of are available in the supermarkets for cheap, really cheap prices.
I know.
So it doesn't have to be expensive. You don't, health food shops are brilliant, but you don't have to. I can imagine that would be incredibly daunting to walk in on your first day of being vegan and going, what am I meant to do with all these products? But
I think having a guide or sort of maybe having a coach for a week or 2 weeks or just anything, do your research, like these kind of things can all really make a massive difference and help you out. And you don't have to do it alone. There's support available and really kind people out there if you just look for them. And we're not all demons and horrible people trying to ram veganism down your throat. We're just trying to do a good thing for ourselves and for the planet and for the animals, right?
100%, 100%.
Well, do you want to tell everyone where they can find you? Thank you so much. I really appreciate you instilling everyone with your wisdom and everything you have shared.
What you mean, like my actual find me, like my house?
No, my goodness, private property. How to find you online? How to order more of your treats, or just like you have a website, Instagram?
I do. My website is sheenableakney.com, but it's a mouthful and a half with my full name. And my business name is Truffleupagus Vegan Yums, which is also a mouthful. And I'm on Instagram as well as Truffleupagus Vegan Yums too.
Yes.
And also as the Belfast Vegans.
They can, and you're speaking up for the animals on YouTube as well, which I can link.
Speaking up for the animals on YouTube, and then we're Belfast Vegans on Instagram for the Speaking Up for the Animals information of our activism and stuff like that. So,
and everyone can order from you just by direct message or through your website.
Not really. We only really do the order through the website at Christmas time because it's such a big order. But I probably will, now that I've got my lovely new laptop, I will probably be pushing everything over to the website. But currently it's through Facebook or Instagram mostly. Okay. So.
You got to get your hands on that Christmas hamper before they're all sold out. Christmas will be rolling around here in a few minutes. What do you say?
I know, I have to stop putting it up at like the end of October. I get too excited, and then we have the video up at the end of October and it's sold out in the first week of November, and then you're going, people are messaging you and going,
without their Christmas dinner, and it's not even December. Talking the trauma.
Not even the end of November, like, for flip's sake. So I might do it a wee bit later. That
We'll
you'll
just
try and
have to
contain myself.
expand.
I know.
Get more
I'll have to
people
just
to
contain my
help you.
excitement.
More little elves to cook up more dinners to feed more boys in Belfast.
More wee vegan elves, that would be cute.
I know. I'll even dress up. Well,
That'd be
thank you
cute.
so much, Sheena. It's been so lovely chatting to you, and
Thank you, Amy.
as always.
Oh, thank you so much, Amy. And have a lovely day today. You get a bit of nature.
Oh yes, I will. But before the rain comes on here, we'll have a nice wee time running about the beach with Cody.
Oh, that'd be lovely. I'll love to see the pictures later on.
Oh yes, we'll have to take some for you. And you can send me some more of these gravy rings and tantalize my taste buds.
I know. I didn't want to eat all of them because there was 6 of them. So the seagulls had a nice feast this morning.
Oh my goodness, those seagulls are your best friends. No wonder.
Massive.
That's okay. Well, I will see you very soon, and enjoy the rest of
I'll
your
see
day.
you next week. Right. Have a lovely day now. Speak to you soon, sweetheart. Bye.
And thank you, as always, for tuning in to another Time to Thrive Live episode. I really hope you enjoyed this one, and we're all out here fighting for what's right together. If you are enjoying these videos, don't forget to subscribe, hit that little like button, drop me a comment down below. Do you feel like you're fighting for what's right? And as always, there'll be a shareable template shared on my Instagram, so join me over there at Surviving Now Thriving. And I shall love you and leave you until next time. Lots of love.